Namaste students. Today I'm going to start our class with one value education. The today's value is depending upon the situation which you are experiencing. We often drive car and we enjoy driving a lot, right? I am sure that most of you are already enjoying the same experience. But everyone, every living being or every sentient being must drive this car. This CAR, C-A-R, is an acronym for the situation to handle. We must have experienced a situation in our life in one way or another in which the situation is so tough, so uncomfortable that we want to come out from that, or we would like to change it. The first acronym of the CAR, C, represents the change. If you are in a situation where you can change the situation, change it. Alright? Now, in case if you are not able to change the situation, then you can accept it. Further, if you are not comfortable in accepting the situation, then you can either remove yourself for the car, in the car, or remove yourself or rise above from the situation. The three things that you can do in the car is change the situation if you are not comfortable with, but the situation, if it is not going to get changed by your decisions, then accept the situation, work through it and overcome it. And in case still after acceptance you are not able to perform good, then remove the situation from your life. You can remove that situation based on a strict decision. In case if it is also not possible, then do your best to come up or above the situation so that it would not bother you anymore in future. So let's get started with today's lesson. So today's lesson start with the structure of cell. In structure of cell, we will be talking about the parts of the cell which majorly divided into the living part and the non-living part. The non-living part preferably we are calling the cell wall, which is present in plant cell. However, the living part is consistent in every living cell, that is the plasma membrane and the protoplasm. Before we go further deep into the details of these topics or these structures of the cell, let's first enjoy the moment with the song that have been extracted from the internet. And this song is quite interesting because it involves everything, every part of the cell and the function along with it. So let's go for it.
Here's what each cell contains. Outer layer is the cell membrane. It controls what goes in and out. The cell gets energy from the source of mitochondria, also known as the powerhouse. In the ribosomes of the cell with protein synthesis, endoplasmic reticulum will carry substances, breaking down materials, lysosomes. The nucleus controls the cell, kinda like a brain, contains the DNA when cells divide to replicate. Inside the nuclear membrane full of pores. The nucleolus makes ribosomal subunits from proteins, secreting hormones are the Golgi bodies. Each unit of a cell is an organelle. The membrane keeps substances out inside, cell filled with cytoplasm. Lysosomes help break things down, energy from mitochondria, protein factories, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, transfer substances like proteins, nucleus controls lipids.
Cell membrane, mitochondria, lysosomes, ribosomes, cytoplasm, nucleus, ER and Golgi body, and the nucleolus. Cell membrane, mitochondria, lysosomes, ribosomes, cytoplasm, nucleus, and Golgi body, the nucleolus.
If you look at a plant cell, they have a few different organelles, chloroplast, vacuoles, and a cell wall. Chloroplasts take the sun in, convert to food through photosynthesis, large vacuoles to food, water, and waste. The cell wall is the outer, rigid cellulose as the protector. It provides structure to the cell.
Cell membrane, mitochondria, lysosomes, ribosomes, cytoplasm, nucleus, and Golgi body, the nucleolus. Cell membrane, mitochondria, lysosomes, ribosomes, cytoplasm, nucleus, and Golgi body, the nucleolus.
I hope that you enjoyed the song. I personally like the song, and try to memorize the parts and its role with the help of this song. I definitely guaranteed you this would help you throughout the year, and with this we can make learning very interesting. Now, without wasting time, let's move to the next topic, and that is the plasma membrane. So in plasma membrane, when we talk about plasma membrane, is just an outer covering of the cell which allows some specific particles to move through it. It is semi-permeable in nature, okay, but it also defines the shape of the cell also, and it is present in every living cell, be it a plant cell, be it an animal, or any kind of microorganism. It is present in it because it is a living part of it, okay, but thin, delicate, and elastic. The semi-permeability of plasma membrane is given by certain proteins which are called extrinsic and intrinsic proteins. So we will be talking about that in further details along with the diagram. Now this plasma membrane is 7 nanometer thick, and chemically it contains 40% of lipids, 60% of proteins, and approximately 1 to 10% of carbohydrates. It was Singer and Nicolson who have discovered the properties of plasma membrane and then convert them into a model to actually learn it, I mean, for future generation. Now how they do it, that is going to be the part of the next discussion. Now if you see the Singer and the Nicholson's model, it's quite complicated to see, right? But we have a simplified diagram for the plasma membrane also, so not to worry about it. Now if you see from the diagram, the detailed diagram of plasma membrane, if you see, there are some peripheral membrane proteins which are present either on the inside part of the plasma membrane or on the exterior part of the plasma membrane, that are called peripheral membrane proteins. And there are proteins which are actually running through from outside to inside, or you can say that opposite to it, inside to outside, which are called intrinsic membrane proteins, right? Along with that, we have some cytoskeleton filaments, we have some glycoproteins, we have some glycolipids, which have different functions, which we are going to discuss about it. Of talking about the structure of the plasma membrane, it is nothing but a lipid bilayer. Now when we talk about lipid bilayer, there are two layers of lipids. Now when we talk about lipids have two major parts. First is called hydrophilic part and second is hydrophobic part. The hydrophilic part is water loving part and the hydrophobic part is water hating part. That means the hydrophilic part should be exposed outside and the hydrophobic part should be concentrated inside. So if you see, it's like a it's like a shape of a sperm. The sperm has head and the tail, right? So the head is hydrophilic in nature, that's why it is exposed outside, and the tail is hydrophobic in nature, so they are concentrated inside the plasma membrane. So this is called the lipid bilayer because there are two layers. So first layer, the head is exposed outside and the tail is exposed inside, and in the second layer, head is exposed inward of the cell and the tail is in between that. So this in between, we have peripheral proteins and intrinsic proteins, and along with that some glycoproteins and glycolipids on the surface of the plasma membrane. This bilipid layer is selectively permeable. When I'm saying selectively permeable, it is different from semi-permeable. Alright, selectively permeable ability enables this plasma membrane to allow specific molecules to get in and move out from the cell. So this selectively permeable membrane is different from semi-permeable membrane because in semi-permeable membrane, it is not selective. I mean, specific molecules may or may not move in and move out from the cell. There would be some difference in the the amount, number of, or the type of molecules to get in and move out from the cell in case of semi-permeable. But in selectively permeable, a specific molecule or a specific substrate will go into or outside the cell. Now coming to glycolipids and glycoproteins. Now these glycolipids and glycoproteins, as name suggests, glyco means carbohydrate, proteins means protein. So these glycoproteins are actually the conjugation of carbohydrate and protein together. Alright, and in case of glycolipids, glyco means carbohydrate and lipids are lipids. So glycolipids are the combination of carbohydrates and lipids. These two molecules, or heavy molecules, or you can say that big molecules, biomolecules specifically, if I say, they act as a recognition site. Recognition site, for example, let's take an example. Why your name is Ramesh, why your name is Rohit. It is a recognition of your individuality. Same goes with the plasma membrane. When they have these recognition sites, only the selected substrate or molecule will come and attach with this glycolipids or glycoproteins, and with the help of intrinsic protein, it will move into the cell. That's why they are selective in nature. So only that specific molecule will go into it because it is being recognized by the plasma membrane that yes, we need this molecule only out of all the molecules that are present in the fluid or the water around the cell. Right? Okay. Now, glycoproteins and glycolipids, sometimes they come together, they are very close together to form glycocalyx. Now, this glycocalyx is a kind of covering. When they are in very large amount, it is specifically present in bacteria. When they are in very large amount on the surface of the plasma membrane, they form glycocalyx, which is hydrophilic in nature, and it helps in the movement in water medium, or helps to absorb substances which are dissolved in water. So that's how bacterial and lower organisms or unicellular organisms able to get material from the water, right? Now we have discussed the structure of the plasma membrane. Now comes for the function. If you see, the plasma membrane is the outer covering, so it provides shape to the cell. Though yes, we have the selective permeability, so that's how it facilitates the endocytosis and the exocytosis of the certain material into and outside the cell. It also acts as a passage for water flow, right? So water goes in and out from the cell with the help of the plasma membrane. So you have from the mind map which we have discussed in the class, the pinocytosis and phagocytosis in endocytosis category. So water flow is pinocytosis, which is facilitated by plasma membrane. Also, in case of protozoan, it facilitates the flow of external fluid like any kind of fluid, like the fluid which is required for the organism to grow or to survive. So that is also done by the plasma membrane. or any nutrients which are being which are supposed to be absorbed with the help of microvilli. So microvilli, they have plasma membrane at the outside, through which the nutrients are being absorbed. It also facilitates the flow of information and play a role in recognition. As I told you, glycoproteins and glycolipids, they are the recognition sites. So it will tell the cell that this kind of substrate have come, so it can be moved into the cell, or some waste material which has been generated inside the cell which have to be moved out from the cell. That is also being done by the plasma membrane. And lastly, it acts as a mechanical barrier. There is a vast difference between the environment based on the pH and etc., which is being separated with the help of plasma membrane. So that's it for today, everyone. I'm sure that you have understood the terms fully, and you would be reading out the same from the NCERT. Now I want you to do some work as a practice, so I am handing you some worksheets to do so, and please do it on your assignment notebooks. All right, thank you so much.